Hey guys, welcome to the Rock and Road Show. The star of the show is sleeping. He's been hot. It hasn't been great weather. Sorry, I've been gone a few days. Had to make my 1-day trip to town once a week, once every 2 weeks. In between hurricanes, tornadoes, and flooding. We had more flooding here in Texas, and a local river filled up 15 feet in 45 minutes again. Yeah. So, it's been very wet, very muddy, and very buggy. And I want to give a shout out to a new friend of mine who has a Border Collie rescue ranch. And he has Border Collies available. He also trains the Border Collies. He's been doing it for quite some time. And he's out in area like southwest Texas, near the Great Big Canyon National Park, over by the New Mexico border. And his name is John B. Quick. Like, we're going to be quick about this. And it's an old Western name. And his dogs work with sheep, and you can see him on YouTube and see the dogs actually work with the sheep on YouTube. And he's got a beautiful little tiny baby Border Collie right now that's going to grow up to have all kinds of lessons and training and ready to have a nice home. And I think he has 1 or 2 more that might be ready for available also. Anyhow, so today I want to talk to you about some very interesting stuff because I'm sick and tired of dingbats on Google and eBay. Yeah, I'm going to say this again, that are mostly white and have no fluckin', F-L-U-C-K-I-N, clue about silver. And get online and start screaming online and pretending to be some expert. They know all about it, claiming to have ingot silver. And I get upset, and I can't even laugh at their stupidity and ignorance. I just can't. The basic thing is, when you go to make a bracelet and you're going to pour your silver, like say you have wax carved some of your stuff, or you've stamped and you're ready to go, and you got all your tools lined up, the silver has to be poured eventually, some of it somehow, into a mold. For instance, sometimes these tiny little bits and pieces that you see, sometimes those are mold, sometimes those are not, but they come from silver, and the silver has to be melted down. The silver has to be processed. These are some samples here that have some tiny little bit of silver in them. Yeah, they look like road rock, they look like cheap crap. If you look real careful at this one, you can see a tiny little bit of sparkle in it. That's not pyrite. Not all silver ore has a tiny little bit of sparkle, but some of it does. Not all of it comes in the color of black. Some of it comes in darker black. Some of it comes in lighter black. Some of it doesn't come in the color black at all. I've actually held silver in my hand that was green from Creede, Colorado. 12 to 14,000 feet up in the air. I mean, it was green. We're talking about like river green and dirty rivers down the south. Green, very green. So when an artist goes to buy silver to pour for interesting projects that they're going to make, like this piece here has some bar silver, that bar had to be made. And when you look at some silver pieces, sometimes there's this twisted wire silver. The twisted wire had to have been made. It just doesn't come out of the ground like that. It doesn't come from nature like that. So it has to be melted, processed, melted, and then poured. And ingots, you can actually get an ingot at your bank. And it looks almost exactly like this. It's almost exactly the same size and shape. A rectangle, and almost exactly this actual thickness and everything. This is almost exactly like an ingot right here. This is maybe slightly wider than an ingot. Let's see, about 2 fingers. Yeah, it's about 2 fingers. Yeah, it's pretty much an ingot. He might have used an ingot backing on it. This is a very famous piece by a jeweler that I knew on the Indian reservation. His name is Chimney Butte. So he might have used a piece of ingot back on the back of this. But this piece here is mostly, as a matter of fact, made from sheet silver. But even when you go to make silver in big portions and big pieces of sheet, and I've actually seen sheets that are like almost like a piece of paper, like a 10 by 10 or 10 by 12 notebook paper, silver sheet. And then sometimes it's long and rectangle shaped, the sheet. Like from this red line to about over here, about like that, about the width of your hand, sheet. And then you sit down and cut your sheet, pound your sheet, stamp your sheet, and solder your sheet, whatever makes you happy with your sheet. And you can see here that these tiny little decorative pieces that he made didn't come from sheet. They came from some silver that had to have been poured, and then of course melted or stamped and put on there. Ingot, this one here was probably molded from ingot because it's so big and thick. That's one of the ways you can tell, but not always, because this has like a lot of weight to it. I don't remember the weight on this one, but it's very heavy. I've sold some really big, really heavy, very famous pieces on my eBay page. I actually sold the largest, heaviest Navajo-made, Native American Indian made bracelet in history, in the world, yeah, by a very famous Navajo artist named Emerson. On my eBay page many years ago now, 1/2 pound of silver. Yeah, and it was made from ingot. And I only got $1,500 from it, and it weighed 1/2 pound of sterling silver. Somebody in Michigan bought it. They were very happy to have it. And a lot of times when you buy ingot, you can tell because they're extremely hard to bend. I mean, like bending. And the last piece I had, actually slammed it with a towel on my truck door. It was a badass vice. So I could get that bracelet a little bit smaller so I could actually wear it sometimes. And sheet. And this was probably, I'm guessing, because sheet comes in different thicknesses. This one's almost like the thickness of my fingernail. I'm going to zero this in a little bit more so you can see it. This piece here is real close to the thickness of my fingernail, and you can get really good sheet that's nice and thick, or really super thin, and those are used for bezels around edges. Or you can get it really super thick, really nice. It's hard for me to tell here because of this way this one's made, and this is a really old piece. It's my watch. I wear it all the time. But this might have actually been a really old piece of sheet. Yeah, I have a piece of leather in there. That's another story. That's probably another show, another time. A lot of times you can put leather on the inside of your bracelets to keep them from clanging and clinking. Keeps them nice and quiet. Makes them a little more comfortable. Makes them a little smaller, a little easier to wear. All right, so I think maybe that'll help some people from screaming and squealing how, oh my God, I've got ingot. I got ingot. Oh, this is ingot. Ooh, oh. No, just relax. The silver has to come from a rock. Has to be processed. That's another long story. Then it is turned into a form of silver that you can buy at your bank in an ingot shape. Unless you know a processor, and then you can get them in little, they come from out of the crucible, so they're round and they're pretty cool, and they're almost like a button, about the size of a 50-cent piece, a little bit thicker than a 50-cent piece, it depends on how much silver it is, and the grade and everything, and the cost, and who's processing. But you can get them round like that and then melt them down. or you can melt down scrap. A lot of old silver, that should be another show, another whole other science episode we should do. A lot of silver that's melted down from scrap, which this one probably came from. Yeah, because this is so thick that I'm assuming that it's not sheet, but it could be sheet, because I was not there at the trading post. I didn't buy it. I didn't meet the artist. I didn't see the artist do it, but I have seen really thick sheet like this before in the past. I can barely bend this one. Oh yeah, it's pretty cool. But this one here, this is super bendy. Yeah, this is really, I was like, this is Chimney Butte? When did his stuff get so crappy? I'm like, this, I paid a fortune for this, and it's extremely bendy. I was like, whoa. Wow, that gives me some second thoughts about Chimney Butte. So, buying the silver to melt it down, sheet and ingot, and including the round little crucible pieces, those basic shapes and pieces, and they all cost different. You can get them at different places. You can get them at the bank, you can get them at a pawn shop, you can get them at trading post, you can get them at the trading posts usually are the places that are like the dealerships for buying your supplies. Tools, stones, other people's stuff. Yeah, you can buy other people's forms and put your own stones in it. I used to do that when I first started, because I didn't have any way to melt down and pour my stuff, and I wasn't going to go into that extra cost, and I was doing a lot of inlay, so I would buy other people's forms to do inlay. So I would go to the supply places. One of the biggest places out in the Indian reservation used to be a place called Grant's. I don't know if they still have one out there or not. It was out there in Gallup, and they had one in Albuquerque. And they have big catalogs and magazines, so you could order it online. Yeah. I mean, whoever talks to you about this stuff? Nobody, right? Well, now you know. Now you know from me. Well, stay tuned on my channel. In the future, I might be doing a local foreign restaurant that came out to the Fort Hood area. I might be eating their food and doing a little expose on them and their stuff. That might be in the future. And I'm going to have a lot more stuff to do on the Hummer, of course, and a lot more stuff coming. I'm trying to push as much as I can before the winter comes, because I think we're going to have a really wet, crappy, very wet winter. That's what I think. And make sure to keep checking out my TequilasunTrading on eBay, because I've got more jewelry coming I have to repair. And I have fossils, of course, and we might have more fossils coming. And got the dog for rent. That's about it. How's your silver?